All right, welcome everyone. I'm just going to hit record. Set this up a bit, won't be a sec. Won't be a sec, guys. Awesome. All right, let's do this thing. My name is Brian Marsh, and I'd like to welcome you here to our special one-off training around an event, the cornerstone of our business, I believe. So those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Brian Marsh. I'm a National Marketing Director with Juice Plus. I got involved in Juice Plus in February 2016. So 16 months ago. Today's date is Wednesday, the 26th of July, 2017, if you are watching this back. The theme around this training session is events. I honestly believe that events are the cornerstone of our business. We build our business around events. So I wanted to spend some time today and just do a bit of like a training session, more of maybe a brain dump onto video as to what I've experienced over the last 15 to 16 months. Learning probably from the best, in a sense that our Thursday night events here on the Gold Coast are world class. Linda and James Evenden, Adam and Kira, their events, they've all learnt from some fantastic event people out of the UK when they kind of pulled their events together. So, and obviously it's grown and changed over time. And of more recent, I've had the privilege of being on the road with Adam. We've traveled into multiple countries, through different states, running Juice Plus events. And every time they've gotten a little bit better, and I've learned along the way. So today's goal, the objective, I suppose, is just to get some training around events, because so many people ask about how to start an event, how to run an event. So the objective today is, one, how to create an event. Two is how to host the event. Three is to share your story on the event. The importance, so the number fourth is the importance of the different sections of the event, and then the benefits of the event. So hopefully I answer all those questions in the training session. If not, let's make it interactive in the end. Hopefully I'll have some time for questions and answers. So first up, I believe there are two types of events in our business. First is the online event, the Zoom event. An online event that we normally host through Zoom, the technology we're currently using for this training session. And then the second one is the live event, usually in someone's home, or it might be in a coffee shop, in a restaurant, at a bar. The Thursday night event that we have here on the Gold Coast started off in Linda Everden's house, and has now it outgrew that maybe a year ago, and is now at one of the hotels here on the Gold Coast. 3 years ago, there was probably 6 people sometimes there. Now there's 120, sometimes 150 people at that event. So it's an amazing experience, the live event. But there is a difference between the online event and the live event, which we're going to go through. So the importance of the event from a prospect's point of view. Events are the most powerful prospecting tool we have. Okay, so this is the main reason for the event, is because of the prospect. It's someone that we're introducing to the business, someone that we're trying to get information in front of to present to the prospect. Okay, so the reason why we run these events is for the prospect. Okay, so that's the main reason. The information and the stories. The stories are what is inspiring around these events. Okay, I'm just going to move my camera a little bit. So that's the reason why we run events. And I think we need to keep that in mind when we're planning events. We need to keep that in mind when we're organizing events, hosting events, is that we're doing it for the prospect, okay, as the main reason. Okay. Now, from the team's point of view, attending events is a non-negotiable. It's a high-paying activity. We have a system in place that's created success. You know, we have a system in place that we teach, and if you follow that system, you will have success. Okay, and one of those high-paying activities is getting to an event, being consistent around those events. Okay, there is a lot that comes out of that. Staying close to the fire. Okay, learning the verbiage, hearing it again and again and again. Okay, is powerful because it takes time to sink in. It takes time to understand the product and the program. But after you've heard it 50 times at an event, it kind of starts to sink in. Okay, so we need to be consistent. We need to plug into the events. We need to get around the fire. In our business, there's always going to be neg ferrets. But when we can come together as a family, as a group, as a team, and at an event, either online or live, okay, we're surrounding ourselves with like-minded people, and proximity is power. Okay, there's a story that Adam shares that when Laurie and Cameron first started the business, he's an NMD 75 club, been in the business a few years, and he said to Adam, "Do I have to be at this event every week?" And Adam said, "No, you don't. But the successful people do." And he was talking about the event that's in Linda's lounge room at the time. Okay, that's now at the CBD Hotel. You know, and as he says, he looks around the room and, you know, a quarter or a third of the room are his team now because he was consistent. He stayed at the event. One thing I heard, and I believe it comes from Jeff Roberti, but it could be from somebody else, is that sometimes the event needs you and sometimes you need the event. Okay? Because sometimes I've been to a lot of events where it's just team. And that's great also, because we can use it as a training experience. But when you're not coming to the event, when you don't have a prospect, you're making the event about you instead of making the event about other people. Okay, so it's really important that you be consistent and you plug into the events online and live if in the area. And you know what? If you don't have one in your area, maybe after this training session, you're going to be inspired enough that you'll be able to maybe grab some sideline buddies and start one in your local area. Okay. Now, the next step around the event is stepping up and being involved in the event. Okay. Stepping up and stepping out of your comfort zone to get involved in an event. Jeff Roberti, if you don't know who Jeff Roberti is, he's the $100 million man. He's been in our business. Started back when it was water filters and then went into Juice Plus, and he was involved in getting Juice Plus started. He says over that time that the quickest way to master something is to teach it. And how do we teach it? We get involved with events. We put our hand up and say, you know what? I want to be that person that's up the front holding the pen. Because it's the people at the front holding the pen that are making the money, okay, usually in the business, okay? So you may feel that you're ready to step up and start getting involved in an event, which is awesome. Your first option should be speaking to your leaders to see if they need help with their event, okay? That's the first thing you should be doing before you go out and starting to create your own event, okay? Because we know creating an online event or an offline, like a live event, is a lot of work, okay? So the first thing you should be doing is speaking to your leaders to see if they need help with their event. Now, I believe that if you're at the SC level and above, you should be involved in an event, online or live, preferably both. Online is much easier, okay, getting started, getting involved, than offline, than live, okay, because there's not always a live event in the area. but the live events are very powerful. So if you're at SC, my thoughts are that you need to start stepping up. My thoughts are that you need to start raising your hands and saying, I want to take a part of it. Now, there's not always going to be a spot on an event. For example, my event, I've probably got 30 people that could easily get involved in doing a section of the event. So I'm not really looking for people to put their hand up and come to me and say, I want to be involved in your event. Okay. And yes, I have raised up people, and yes, I have trained people through those events. But there's, on the other side of that, is it's important that we have a safe event, a powerful event every week that we all know is going to be run properly. It's going to be professional, that we know is going to be consistent, that we know if we've got a prospect, we can bring that person to. Okay. I'm not saying that I'm not going to use people throughout the events. Okay. But getting on the bigger events can be harder. Okay. Now there's heaps of safe and good events within our team. There's great events around. Okay. And there's also some events that are just stepping up and starting. Okay. And they're the ones, sidelines, they're the ones that you might be able to put your hand up and help with. Okay. So I honestly believe my business went from here to here. Okay. Took a step up in the right direction when we were forced to host our own event, because we were growing really quickly. Okay. We were growing at the time, 20 or 30 people joining our business, and that was in our third or fourth month. Sorry, I just saw a question come on. Third or fourth month of the business, and we needed to host an event. Okay. It forced me to step out of my comfort zone. It forced me to learn what I needed to say. It forced me to do research. It forced me to get organized and start the event. And our business took that step. Okay. The other time around an event that I believe our business, also myself personally, but our business grew, was when I committed to going to our Thursday nights events at Linda's house. And that took a few months for me to do. And it was, no one really grabbed me and said, you need to be there every week. And I suppose looking back, I should have been there every week from the beginning. Okay. Maybe we would have grown quicker. But I see the importance when I look back at our timeline. I look back at where our business took those steps. And it was definitely when we started or got involved in an online event. Now I'm frontline to Kira. So the only event she had was her Mummies on a Mission event, so I wasn't going to help out on that. And then they had the Sunday night event, Own Your Own Life, but they had a massive team when I started, so I couldn't get on there. Okay, so I was forced into starting our own, and we were growing at 20 to 30 people a month, and we had to build a place. We had an event. We needed an event to launch our people at. Okay, but not everyone is growing that quickly. Okay, not everyone has 20 or 30 people they need to launch every month. So that is why I'm saying, if you're at SC and above, okay, and you have events around you, sideline, upline, wherever, they're the ones that you should be reaching out to see if they need help. And if you can't get a spot on those events, then maybe it's time that you sideline with some other people and you start an event together. Okay. And when my recommendation around that is that if you are going to sideline with people, you keep it within freestyle. It's not a deal breaker if you go outside of freestyle, but the only issue with outside of freestyle is, yes, the events are very similar, but the program is different. We obviously have the JBT program, the Juicy Body Transformation program. Okay, but if you need to sideline with people outside of freestyle, then that's fine. There's heaps of events. Our Thursday night event is sideline with people outside of freestyle. Okay, and it runs smoothly. And we talk about programs. We just don't mention the JBT program. Okay, so if you're at SC and above, it's time for you to start putting your hand up and getting involved with events. Okay, they're very powerful, not just for the prospect, but they're also very powerful for yourself. The live event, being involved in a live event, man, it is an amazing experience, especially when there is people in the room. Bringing a prospect to a live event where they're seeing other people in the room with their hands up, with themselves enjoying themselves. It's a social experience, okay? There's other people in the room saying yes, all right? There's power in the pack. They're not the only person joining the business then, or they don't feel like they are, okay? So the live experience is very, very powerful. It would be more powerful than the online experience. The only issue with it is the live experience is that normally only held once a week or once a fortnight in your area. So time is against you, okay? Because when someone wants information, you want to be able to give them that information straight away. And that's why we have recorded events to send and strike while the iron's hot, okay? But the live experience, bringing someone to a live experience is like, it's probably the best thing you can do with a prospect. Okay, so that gives you a bit of an overview of where I think why events are powerful, both from a prospect's point of view and also from a team's point of view. Now we're going to talk about what I believe a good event looks like. Okay, so the how to it. The first thing, okay, is that you need to create an experience. These events need to be an experience. Okay, remember, we're doing it for the prospect. Yes, there are benefits for us. Yes, there are benefits for us presenting at it. Yes, we know that. But the main reason for this event is for the prospect. So we need to create an experience. And a part of that experience is the theme. Okay, our theme on the Tuesday night is Create Your Own Freedom. There are other themes. Adam and Kira's is Own Your Own Life on a Sunday night. The Thursday night live event is Own Your Own Life. We then have other events in our team, like values, events themed around a value, okay, such as health. We then have market segments or demographic events. For example, Mummies on a Mission, the PT one that we've just done and recorded. There's a lads one, a ladies one, side hustle, plan B, Gen Y. So they're more focused at a segment, but it's a theme, okay, which is a part of the experience, okay? If it's a live event, it should be social. People are craving community. People are craving a social experience, okay? And we get to mix business and pleasure together, especially at an event, if it's at a bar or a restaurant or a cafe, where we can break bread and fellowship together, okay? We're sharing, we're growing in the business together, we're forming bonds. People crave the community, the fellowship, the social interaction. You know, I know a lot of people in our team that come every Thursday night to that Thursday night event, and that's their one social outing for the week. Their one social outing the week is work on a Thursday night. All right, that's some pretty big ticks for an event if that's what happens. Okay, so there's always drinks there, there's food there, people eat before it because it's at a restaurant, so they get to talk together. Little teams get to meet before the event. Okay, they get to have a few drinks throughout the event. Some people hang out after the event. Okay, but it's social. Okay, and when you're bringing a prospect into a social environment, okay, their guard is down. Okay, their guard is down. It rolls on to the next probably topic, is that it should not be salesy. You don't want to create a culture or an experience around it being salesy. You don't collect credit card details. You do not have sign-up papers at the event. Never seen it done. I've heard of horror stories of people trying to do it, registration sheets and that. You know, I talk to prospects all the time at the Thursday night event, and they're worried before they get there. What's it going to be like? I've been to other companies where you have to register, or they're trying to close you before you leave. We're not like that. We're playing this very cool, okay? But it's attracting people to it. Okay, so the theme, the experience is really important. So when you're planning an event, what are you trying to achieve? What theme, what experience? What do you want to say? What culture do you want to set when you're creating that? Ours was Create Your Own Freedom. We wanted to create freedom in our lives okay? And we brought that into the event, okay? So once you've got your theme and your experience, right, we then move on to the structure of the event, okay? And this has recently changed a little bit because when we first joined and for the first few years of Adam and Kira's business, they built the business on 1 hour events, online 1 hour events. Now the focus is 30-minute express events, okay? The live Thursday night events and the ones that we do on the road normally run for 45 minutes to an hour, okay? But the online event, I think the sweet spot is 30 to 35 minutes. If you can get to that, I think you know, hitting the nail on the head with what my experience. Because the issue is when you are recording an event and it's an hour and you're sending that to someone, the prospect looks at the timer and sees that it's an hour and they don't believe that they don't have enough time or have an hour to watch the presentation. And you do lose people at that. Okay, I'm not saying that don't work because Adam and Kira built a massive business around that. The first 6 months of us building our business was on a 1 hour event. Okay, but you know, I think the sweet spot now is 30 to 35 minutes. So we start with a host. Okay, now that host might be the same person that does the product and the program. So I'm talking about the structure now of an event. What I see run really smoothly and what I see are great events. The first is the host, okay? Someone that's going to get up and welcome them to the event. Now, if that's live, it's a get up and welcome. And if it's online, then it's the person that's the first person on the screen, the host, okay? Now, the host may do the product and program or they may not. They may bring someone up to do it. On my online events, I bring someone else up to do the product and program, okay? On the live event, it's usually done by someone else also. But the host will introduce themselves. They'll welcome them, okay? They may raise the energy, quiet the room, raise the energy. They may try to break the ice with a joke, and I see some people do that quite well. But if you're not a funny guy, don't try to be a funny guy because it usually fails. And you can look like a douche, okay? But I know for my Tuesday night events, when we run it, and the theme is around create your own freedom, I welcome people. We always have online, we have people launching their business. So I welcome them. I thank them for coming. You know, I say to them, you're probably invited by someone that's launching their business tonight. Thank you for being here and supporting them. I will then, I can't see that chat. I will then say, sorry guys, one sec. You know, so I will then say to them, okay, that Juice Plus came into my life when it was in February of last year, okay? And I'll share a little bit about how it came into my life. So my wife was a stay-at-home mum. We had 4 kids. She kind of lost her role, her identity in that role. We had known friends of ours. We'd followed them on Facebook, Adam and Kira, and Fiona reached out to them. They created curiosity. We'd known them for 8 or 9 years. We knew of some of the struggles that they were having in their life, okay? Similar struggles that we were having, I suppose, in our other business at times. We didn't have time freedom. Fiona was a stay-at-home mum. She was looking to get out of the house. So we're talking a bit about the pain of why we made a decision to join and hopefully relate to people in the audience. Okay. So my wife was looking to go back to work, but she was really anxious about that. Okay. She didn't know what day she'd get called into work. So we reached out to our friends, Adam and Kira. Okay, we were the ones that reached out to them. So by sharing that story, we've planted a seed, okay, that in this business, people actually reach out to you. Okay, it's not necessarily, we don't have to be in this business and go and headhunt people. Okay, so I'm trying to build connection with people by doing that. So there was curiosity. We reached out to them. We went around to their house and we had questions answered. Okay, just like you guys. If I'm at the event, I'm possibly going to have questions, okay? And I urge you to stick through the event. At a live event, they're usually not going to leave, but online, they can disappear. And if you've got questions, reach out to the person that introduced you to this opportunity. And then I might talk a bit more about the theme, like last night in the event. And I played with this a little bit. Last night in the event, I talked about our theme was create your own freedom, because the world is changing, right? People are losing their jobs. It's no longer we can go to school, work for, come out of school, go to college, and come out of that and work for 30 years in the same job and be happy with that. People are being made redundant. Technology is changing things. I'll share some stories around technology changing things, because everyone in that audience can relate to someone that's lost their job, okay, being made redundant by technology, by downsizing, losing their jobs around the economy. Most people don't have a plan B. May bring that into the introduction, talk about a plan B, okay? And then, I would wrap that up by saying that that's why we've themed this event, Create Your Own Freedom, is to have that plan B, which that plan B might turn into plan A. Okay. And then I would introduce the person who's going to do the product and the program, because I don't normally do that. I have done it, but I don't normally do it. It's not my strength. Okay. So I would then introduce whoever's doing the product or the program up to the stage or to the, I'd make them the host, not the host, I'd spotlight them on Zoom, okay? So I'm still the host on Zoom, okay? I'm spotlighting them, I'm controlling that. I'm not putting it in speaker view, because if you put it in speaker view on Zoom, when other people talk, it switches to them. But I would right click on their thumbnail, make them, spotlight them. And I would make sure that obviously that every event is recorded. Okay, so then we would talk about the product and program. Okay, now
Brian,
I've got scripts around that the product and the program that you can look at if you want to do the product and the program. I'm not going to go into too much detail about all of the sections. The product and program, I've got scripts around that, but my advice to you if you're going to do the product and the program is to look through a number of people's events, see who you like, see who you resonate with, okay? And just take notes of what they're doing, the main points of how they're explaining the product and the program, okay? Then the person that's done the product and the program will usually hand it back to myself, or I will go back and spotlight myself. And then when I'm on an online event where we're launching businesses, I would introduce the people that are launching the business. Okay, if it's not, I'm introducing the people that are sharing the testimonies, okay, at the time. If it's at a live event, usually never launching a business, but you may launch a business at a live event. We don't on Thursday nights, okay? But I would then bring them up and usually have 1 to 2 testimonials. 1 to 2 testimonials. And the questions are very important, and you need to prep the people before they launch, before they talk, okay, at the testimonies, because someone getting up and sharing for too long, okay, will derail your event. And it hurts. I've had it happen to me. I've had people share for 10 or 15 minutes, okay, when they're sharing their stories. And it's painful because I have to sit there. I probably should have disconnected them. There's a way to do that on Zoom. I've heard of other people doing it. I didn't know at the time. But I'm sitting here listening to someone for 10 minutes talk. And some of them go back over everything that the person explaining the product has done. Now, I'm going to go through the story parts a little bit after this, okay? But there's 2 questions that I see being asked that work really well, okay? Now, I play with this from time to time, but I feel like after doing a bit more research over the last few weeks is that what was your health? This is the product and program testimonies when we're bringing people up. What was your health like before the product and program? What are you experiencing on the product and program now? Okay, so the pain, what was it like beforehand and where you're at right now? Pain and pleasure, pain and where you're at now. Okay, and I always try to mention the product and program together. Okay, because if someone's going to start talking about weight loss, we know Juice Plus isn't for weight loss, but the program we can. Okay, so 2 shares at least around the product. Now, when you're doing online events and you're launching so many people through it, you can get caught up in having too many launches and not having powerful program and product shares. At the live event, you don't normally have that issue because you pick the person you want to share at your live event. And you pick the ones with the more inspiring stories, because it's these stories that are the most inspirational part. People, when they walk out of that room or get off the online event, aren't going to remember the information. They're going to remember how they felt when they heard those stories. Okay, they're going to remember how they felt when they heard those stories. So if you're putting an event together, okay, and you don't have to launch a lot of people, grab powerful stories. Some of our people on the Tuesday night event, when they're doing those events and when they're explaining the product and program, they bring their product and program testimony into them explaining the product and program, which is great because we actually get 3 testimonies then. And sometimes myself as the host will use my family's stories when I'm switching between. Okay, so they're hearing multiple stories. So from product and program, we go to at least two help product and program testimonials. Then we move into the misconception area. And I always introduce that by switching it up and talking a bit about the business. And what I like to say is that I honestly believe that unless you're financially healthy, it's pretty hard to be physically healthy. You know, and it's a segue into the business. Okay, so the first is we talk about, well, we call it the pyramid section. Now, I never mentioned, well, I used to, but I don't anymore. Sorry, my computers are doing things. I don't mention skiing. I don't want to put that negative thought in their head, in their mind. Okay, so I would say, one of their misconceptions is it one of those things? Is it shaped like one of those things? And then I would talk about, well, no, when I first started this business, I had that misconception. I was skeptical, but they assured me it wasn't, because the product has been around for 25 years. The business has been around for 47 years. Those things were made illegal in the 70s, in 1977. So if we're doing something dodgy, we would have been found out. But the shape, and I would get the whiteboard out and I would draw the pyramid at that stage. Okay. And then I would talk about the pyramid being around us everywhere. I would talk, and I don't think I need to go through that because you've all seen an event or you can watch events. But the main points there is the pyramid is everywhere. And the pyramid works. The pyramid works in the government, works in the army. It's everywhere. It works in traditional business. But the downfall of it is that there's one person or a very few number of people at the top. Okay, and that's what we're trying to make them realize, that there's only a couple of people at the top making the money. But we've all been or worked in a pyramid. I bring my personal story in there. I still have technology businesses and I have a pyramid. I'm at the top, and for the person at the bottom to get to the top, they have to buy me out. But you can relate that to your own experience. Bring your own experiences, if you're doing that section, into that section, okay, and talk about the pyramid. When I first left school, this is what was happening. I couldn't get to the top. I could get halfway up. There was levels there, but to get further up, I had to buy the CEO out because they usually own the company. Okay, as we went up, there's less and less positions. It become a dog eat, whatever the saying is, world. So we're stepping over each other to try and get to the top. Our business is more shaped like this. Now you can do two ways. You can do the rectangle, or you can do it like an open with no lid on that rectangle, which is what I'm doing these days, because I don't want to plan in their mind that there's a cap on what you can earn, because we have an unlimited earning opportunity in this business. So our business is shaped like this. We come in at the bottom as a virtual franchisee. I bring in the cost. Our business has levels, just like traditional business. One of our pinnacle positions at the top is National Marketing Director. We have an unlimited number of positions at the top, unlike traditional business where the CEO is there. So we're planting the seeds. There's unlimited numbers, unlimited people can get to the top. In fact, to get to the top, you need to help more people. The quicker to get to the top is just by helping more people. Think back to when you heard about the product and program and testimonies. You all know someone that wants to look good, feel good, drop some weight, get healthy. All right, they're the people we help. The more of those people we help, the easier it is to get to the top. And that's the reason why we do that section. We then run into one of the other misconceptions that you need to know a lot of people in this business. Okay. And you don't. When I first started, I knew Jody. Okay. I knew she was looking to go back to work at some stage because she got three small children. Okay. She knew her neighbor who was looking for a new opportunity. And her neighbor, Belinda, knew Beck, who was traveling around Australia. But I bring that experience in because you don't need to know a lot of people. And I draw a line there. The only person in the beginning I knew was Jody, one person. Then we can go into the numbers, the power of numbers. And that is the misconception around you need to have a lot of people in the business to be successful. Now, I sometimes do this and sometimes don't. I haven't done it for a while. At live events, sometimes we do it more than online events. The only reason why we cut it down is to try and compress the time. Okay. But there are a lot of people that still do it, and there's definitely still a place for it. Going through the numbers. You know, if we only introduce 2, then 4, then 8, and 16, and you see how many people are in your business. But if you think over the first few months of your business, if you introduced 5, okay, and those 5 taught another 5, how quickly that's 25, then 125, and then the numbers go on. Okay, you're planting the seed that you don't need to know a lot of people in the business. You don't need to know a lot of people in the beginning, and you don't need to have a lot of people in the business to be successful. And quite quickly that can grow. It's a compounding effect, right? And, you know, 5 people over a month or 2 months or 3 months isn't a lot of people. The other thing that I'm playing with at the moment, and Adam does it really well on a live event, is that there's 3 types of people in this business. And if you look at my event last night, Tuesday the 25th, the first circle, and then we have 3 other circles. And, you know, the 3 types of people that join this business. The first person A, just wants to get their product cheaper, okay, or pay for their product. Person B may want an extra $1,000 to help with the groceries or help with paying the mortgage. Person C, who is me, that wanted a lot more out of this business. Okay, so we're breaking it down. We're trying to relate to the people that are at the event or who they are, and it's for everyone. One thing that I will do over the next few events, but you can introduce into your events, is that sometimes person A becomes person B. They started off just getting the product cheaper, but then they see money dropping into their bank account and say, wow, I could easily, by sharing it with a few people, I could make $1,000. And then person B becomes person C. Okay. So more information around that is just watching the events, learning, staying close, getting the verbiage right. Okay. We then progress into how we get paid. You know, and sometimes I will say, I love this section because the amount of money we make in this business is a direct reflection on the number of people that we help that want to look good, feel good, lose weight. Remember those stories we were sharing at the beginning of the event? Okay. I bring in my personal story, which was true, that they shared with me. I got paid 3 different ways. I don't get paid 3 different ways in my traditional business. Most employees don't get paid more than one way. Again, I'm relating to the employees, the prospects that are in the room. Okay. First way is retail sales profit. Okay. When we put the customer in contact with head office ship the product. Head office put money in our bank account for that. We do not have to hold the product, ship the product, purchase the product on behalf of our customers. All these things that happen in other businesses. Okay, so we're trying to break down all those barriers that our business is very easy. And I'm a lazy guy. I love the simplicity of that. And sometimes I'll say that because there's a lot of lazy people out there. Okay, retail sales profit. The other thing I loved about it is that I could build a business in 25 different countries. I could build customers in way more than that, but I can do it from my mobile phone. And we're taught to use social media to create curiosity. Just like when we go to a coffee shop or a cafe, a restaurant, and we get our meal, we take a photo of it even before we know it's nice. We're putting it on social media and we're recommending it. And we're doing that in this business. We're sharing people's stories, our stories. we're getting paid for that. Facebook or the coffee shop or the restaurant or the movie cinema didn't pay us for when we do that. Okay, and we're using social media to do that. Retail sales profits, the first way. The second way is performance bonus. And I'll normally draw a percentage sign when I do that. Okay, so they can understand it's a percentage. And sometimes I'll say it's 4 to 6% of your team's performance. It's the residual income, the beach money in this business, the passive income. When you have momentum, and I'll usually try and draw them back to when I'm drawing the circles, when you have momentum in your business and you have that circle's growing, and you may call it the popcorn effect if you want, okay, but when you've got momentum in your business, you're being paid on your team's performance. It's the reason why, and it's the truth, Fiona and my wife and I got into this business because we wanted to build a business that was sustainable, that we were going to be paid on for the rest of our life, okay? We could work 3 to 5 years now hard and get paid on for the rest of our life, that we could will or we could sell. Other benefits of our business. Okay, the performance bonus. Then the third is the bonuses. Okay, it's the now money juice plus reward us for the work that we do now while we're building up the residual income, the beach money. And if I mention beach money, I usually say it's been coined recently, beach money, because ideally when you've got momentum in your business, you can be at the beach and being paid for that. Okay, so I would then go into bonuses. Now, on the online events, I don't do that, okay, because we're trying to do express. I don't go through the levels. At the live events, we do. We start at SDVF. Sorry, my computer. We start at SDVF, and we usually go through to NMD, okay? And if we have people sharing their stories, we will bring them up. 2 people at those different levels. Now, if it's an online event and we're not going through bonuses, we don't go through those levels. We just bring them up and we introduce them as, if they're launching, I'd say congratulations on launching your business tonight. Okay? And if these are the business stories, because we've got 2 testimonies at this stage, what was life like before the business? How is the business changing your life? Paying, where is it at now? And I say, how is the business changing your life? Because usually they haven't hit their end result yet, end goal. I mean, none of us have, I haven't, okay? But we talk about how things are changing in their life, okay? And that's at the bonuses section. That's at those levels, okay? Or we're just saying there's bonuses and we just bring those people up to talk about it if we're not going through each individual one, okay? That's up to you if you want to do the bonuses or just talk about the bonuses. Okay, so it's completely up to you. There's no right and wrong way of doing that. Okay, one thing that came to mind just then is that, and I've heard it heaps, is that every event is perfect. Okay, so don't worry about if you're missing things. Don't worry about if you're not getting the structure right. Every event is perfect because you're sharing stories and you're inspiring people. Now, regarding that structure, okay, I always finish on the NMD story. Now, that might not be your story. You may need to use my story or Adam's story, Kira's story, Linda's story, whoever's story, okay? But I like to finish on a strong story, okay? I talk about, it took us 8 months to get to NMD. It's not typical, okay? That's speed, but it's possible. And sometimes I'll say, I know someone here in this audience or in this team is going to break that and do it faster. But I know for myself, when I built it with strength, it was a 6-figure income. I know of other people that have done the same thing. Okay, and then if I talk about the 6-figure income, I talk about comparing that to a real estate industry or another popular investment strategy like real estate, and you're having to own $2 million in real estate at a 5% return to earn $100,000 in residual income. And I bring it back to the business and I say, we took a $165 investment, okay, and turned it into that within 8 months. 8 months isn't typical, but what if it took 2 years or 3 years or 5 years to do? A 6-figure income that you can rely on, $6,000 to $8,000 a month, every month coming into your bank account. You can plan the rest of your life around that. Okay, so I'm trying to inspire them around that. Okay, so if that's not your story, use somebody else's story. Talk about me, talk about somebody else, okay, because it's inspiring. Because some people do want to make that amount of money. Some people are happy with $300 a month, but some people want big dollars. And I think if you can cover off on both, it's important. And then if you're the person that's done the how we get shared. So one probably part I missed is who does what. Okay, so the host, and then we have someone that does the product and program. So you may have someone else that comes up and does that misconception part, pyramid, the circles, the numbers. Okay, and then you may switch to someone that does how we get paid, or the host might do them all. I wouldn't have more than 3 presenters, maybe a host and a couple of presenters. On Thursday nights, we have and normally at a live event, we have a host, someone that does the product, someone that does the misconceptions, someone that does how we get paid. And that person may have someone that come up with a story that closes at the end. So 3 or 4 presenters, okay? And then in closing, I would always close just saying, what if? What if this could change your life? What if you had the time to do this? What if you could create a plan B that became plan A? What if you got to lose? It's a $165 investment. And I just try and inspire them around that, okay? That there isn't much to lose. And sometimes I'll say, which is a true story, this has been a cash flow positive business for us. It's never cost us a cent. The first month, we made more money than the franchise fee and the product fee. And we talk about that. Okay. And sometimes I might say that other people in our team are doing exactly the same thing, but everyone's on a different journey. Some people want to do it in 5 years. Some people want to do it in 1 year. Okay. So that's how I believe how the structure works of a good event. Okay. That I see every week that, it converts people. Okay. Now there's some things that I want to go through about the presenter. Okay. And there's some things I want to go about the stories. Okay, so the presentation, the person speaking is obviously an important part of the event. Okay, people buy us. Okay, they're not buying the information. Okay, they need to trust the person that's up there is speaking. Okay, there needs to be trust there. So as a presenter, you need to be confident. Firstly, you need to be likable, right? Smile when you're up there. Have a good time. Make this fun. Don't get up there and be boring. Make this fun. Okay? Be likable. Smile. Okay? Because people buy us. Okay? So one thing I wouldn't do is read. Okay? On an online event, you can put your notes in front of the screen and you can read. But people, if you've got the notes too big, people will see it because you're reading left to right. I would make your notes small, okay? But you should only be doing that for a few times because when you're in your head, you're dead and you're worried about it. When you're speaking from your heart, you're flowing more passionately and confidently. And that presentation, you need to be confident. You need to be certain. You need to be owning this, okay? And that comes with practice. Your presenter, if you're presenting, small part, big part, you need to practice, okay? And you should be practicing before you get the call up, okay? Sports players don't just hit the ground running and do a great job. They practice. The best and easiest way to practice is get on Zoom, open Zoom, hit record, and do the presentation that you're doing. Stop it, find the file on your computer and watch it back. For my first event, I did that 10 or 15 times because I wanted to watch myself in the way I was delivering, communicating. I wanted to make sure there was passion. I was confident, enthusiastic. The tone was right. I was sitting upright, okay? Because it's powerful. People buy us, okay? So it's really important that you're practicing and watching it back and making sure that you're happy with it. Okay, making sure that you're happy in how you're presenting. Okay, so and you need to be the best. You should want to be the best possible version of yourself. Okay, you want to be the best possible version of yourself because at the end of the day, the difference between someone that's killing it in this business and someone that's not is us. Okay, we need to be confident. We need to be enthusiastic. Okay. Now, if you're presenting and you're being pulled up to do, say, the misconceptions part or invited up to do the misconceptions part or the product or whatever, introduce yourself, share your story, but don't spend any more than 60 seconds on that, okay? Because it's got to flow on to the next event. You should not be making an event about yourself. Okay, you should be making it about the theme and the information, the stories. Okay, that is what is inspiring. Don't make it about yourself. Don't just get up there and go, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I have my opportunity here to talk in front of 100 people or 20 people. I'm just going to go for it. That's not cool. You're making the event about yourself. Okay, so make the event about the other people. So be professional. Okay, we treat this as a business. Practice. Okay, get it right. Okay, present this, be professional. Okay, I'll answer that question, Lauren, towards the end. And have fun. It's the most important thing. You can tell when someone gets up and they're nervous and not having fun. They're in their head. Tony Robbins talks about getting into state. I hear other people talking about putting a persona on. If you see that there's a good presenter, Tony Robbins is an amazing presenter. All right, be Tony Robbins for the 2 minutes that you're going to be speaking for. Okay, that's the easiest thing. Be somebody else while you're doing it. Okay, get into state. I know when I had to get up and speak at conference, okay, and I was running late, it was a mix up in time, put my headphones on. The 5 of us were out the back with our headphones on. Okay, I had music on that I wanted to listen to, but I got into state. I got excited. I got, my adrenaline running before I went out on stage so I could do the best possible job I could do. Okay, but I got into the zone. Got into the zone before I went out and do that. And do that before your events. I see people doing it all the time at our events. So the presenter is really important. Now the stories. Okay, when you need, if you are the host or if you are someone that's leading this, you need to prep the people that are running the stories, sharing their stories. Okay, because like I shared before, someone that is sharing a story for 5 minutes will hijacking your event. Okay, can change the culture, can change the feel, can change the direction of your event really quickly. So you need to do a good job of prepping the person that's sharing their story. Stories shouldn't be any longer than 1 minute, 90 seconds at the most. The person sharing their story should practice. Practice in the mirror. Practice on Zoom. Record yourself on Zoom. It's really important. You've got to get that point across to the people that are sharing their stories. Okay? They need to understand that it's the event that does the work and not their story. You don't want someone sharing a story and going back over explaining the product. And I've seen it happen before. Someone gets up to share their story about psoriasis and then they start talking about re-explaining the product and program. That's already been done. Okay? 1 minute share. The other point is the product is the product. The product and program section are the product and program section. If you're invited to share your story in the product and program section, you are not talking about the business. The business has not been introduced yet. Do not mention the business. Now that's hard when you're launching, okay? But the product section is the product section. When you start talking about the business before the business has been introduced, you're already introducing it to other prospects and it's messy, okay? It's creating confusion, okay? So my advice is stay on point with the product, share the pain and where you're at, answer the 2 questions that were given to you. What was life like or your health like before Juice Plus and the program? What's it like? What are you experiencing on it now? That's the product, okay? 60 seconds, say less. Saying less is best. Let the event do the work. The business section, same thing. The business section is the business section. We're not talking about the product. And you are not going through how we get paid. Okay, you're sharing why you got into this business. What was life like before the business? Well, I was on maternity leave and I didn't want to go back to work. I couldn't imagine leaving my kids at home. So I reached out. I got my questions answered and now I have options. I don't have to go back to work. Okay? Now I'm helping other mums. Talk about where you're going. You don't have to have had the success yet. People follow your vision, where you're going. People want to be led, okay? And it's the stories that do that. Where was the pain? Where were you going? When you're sharing stories, be real, be humble. Yes, it should be a presentation in a sense that you need to get up there and be inspiring and be confident, okay? But you need to be real also, okay? People can see through someone that's been trying to be fake or trying to go over the top, okay? Again, saying less is best, be succinct, and best advice I can give you is record yourself before you get up there and try it a few times. I know someone that I got up recently that spent a couple of days recording themselves in front of the mirror and on a phone. Okay, but they had to get up and speak in front of 150 people, and they were fairly nervous about that, anxious about it, but they wanted to get it right. But that's a spirit of excellence too, you know, you want to do the best job that you can. So I admire that, okay? So that's my tips around the stories. They have to be 1 minute, not 3 minutes. They need to be a minute, okay? You need to prep them. If you're the leader, you're the host, it's your teamie that's getting up there. If you're on my event and you're a leader of someone that's getting up and sharing, you should be prepping them, okay? Because if you're not prepping them, and I try to do it as much as I can beforehand, and they derail the event, it's derailed it for everyone, okay? So that not only hurts them and their prospects, but it's hurt everybody else's, okay? So what do you need to run an event? Okay, let's talk about an online event. You need Zoom. It's the best platform, I believe, for these events. Okay, video conferencing. There's a chat. I can see who's talking. People can send me private messages. I can ban people if I want. I can mute people. It's great. I can switch between speakers. I can make other people the host. I can record it. I can upload it to YouTube afterwards. So Zoom is probably the best technology I've seen for doing that. Okay, you need product and program. You should have it printed, especially if you're doing an online event. You can have it printed here. Going to live events and carrying the JBT around is pretty difficult, but you should have props. You should have the product and program, all of the product and program. And when you're explaining the product and program, you hold it up and show people, because most people wouldn't have seen it, especially if they don't know why they're there at the event. Okay, so make sure there's product and program. If you're at home and it's an online event, then you should have the JBT printed out too and flick through it. Use it as a demonstration. Wow, look at all these recipes we've got. Okay, you'll need a whiteboard markers, and a whiteboard eraser. Okay, so you could use the stationary one, which we've got, but I use handheld. Okay, handheld whiteboard markers, and I'd have a backup too, because they have gone, my kids destroy them, and I've gone to use them and they haven't been available. Okay. Then you'll need a time, place, a Zoom code that you can schedule, what time your event will be, and you'll then need to create a flyer. You can use an online service to help people. There are online services that can create the flyer for you. Once you've got your theme and everything, okay, get your flyer created. Remember, we don't want to put the Zoom links on the flyer. We want people to create intrigue and curiosity. The Zoom link should be a scheduled repeat meeting that's set all the time. You can do that in Zoom. If not, if you don't know how to do that, you can look at the instructions, a how-to on that. But it's really important. Get the structure right. How often should your online events be? The more consistent, the better. I haven't seen events work really well that are monthly. Okay. I've only seen events work really well that are at least fortnightly, preferably weekly. A weekly event is best. Okay. Because then there's no doubt on, or no confusion about, is it on this week or is it not on this week? Okay. So it's really, I believe weekly should be what you're aiming for if you're involved in an event, or if you're starting an event. Okay, Get it done weekly if you can. If no one's turning up to your events, use it as a training session. If you've got no prospects there, give other people the opportunity. It's just team. Give other people the opportunity to get up and do sections. Use it as a training session. Step up and be the leader and be the coach. When they get down at the end of the event, just give them 1 minute feedback. Man, that was awesome. I love the way you did X, Y, Z. Next time, maybe if you just do this, this, and this, it might be a bit clearer. But man, you rocked it. Great first time. Sandwich it. Okay? Give them a compliment. Give them constructive criticism. Finish them compliment. But spend 1 minute on it. That's all you need. Coaching's not difficult. Just be 1 minute. So online events, okay? That's what you need to get these online events. Get the theme happening. Get the flyer happening. Promote the event. Live events, obviously you need a venue. Once you have your theme, you need a venue, okay? And for smaller events, preferably you're not paying for them, okay? Preferably you can do a deal with someone to say, look, we're bringing people to your establishment. They're going to be buying coffee, cake, whatever. We just need a corner of the room, okay? If it's at a social place, a cafe, a restaurant, or a bar, okay? If it's at someone's house, then obviously it's free. But you shouldn't be paying. You shouldn't have to pay. There should be enough venues out there that you can go to that would love 10, 15, 20, 30 people to come in and have coffee and cake and drinks or whatever. Now, we do, the Thursday night event, we do pay for because we have 120, 150 people at it. And we needed that commitment. We needed to lock it in. But it's in a whole room set up for us. Okay, but a smaller getting started event, you shouldn't need to pay for that. Okay, so the live event, you obviously need chairs and not too many chairs. You don't want a prospect walking into a room that's got 100 chairs in it and there's only going to be 10 people in the room. If there's going to be 10 people in the room, you want 5 chairs set up and the other 5 or 10 around the back folded up. Okay, so it gives the psychology of, wow, we're packed, run out of chairs, we have to go and bring more chairs out for you. Maybe that won't happen when it's 5, but if it's 20, okay, and you need to and 30 people rock up, we need to go and get 10 more chairs. We don't want empty chairs, okay? So less chairs set up is better than more chairs set up, okay? You're at a live event, props. Okay, you want your product, you want your program if you've got it printed out. Okay, I've seen people when they do product and program pass it around, which is great. I've seen people hand out recipes, product from the JBT. Another great experience. Remember, we're creating an experience with the live events. Taste testers. Okay, there's a lady in Canberra, I can't remember her name. She's that is always cooking. She's an ex-chef, I think, and she's always bringing product and sharing it there, which is amazing. It's awesome. It's hospitality, right? So you need product and program. You need a whiteboard, and it needs to be big enough that people can see it at the back of the room if it's a big room. Whiteboard markers, etc. Have music playing at the beginning and the end. I've got a UE. We've all got, when we do live events, we've got one of those UE speakers that's out in the kitchen at the moment. It's about the size of this. It just runs off Bluetooth and we just play off. I play our iTunes music or whatever, some music at the beginning, stop it, do the presentation, put it on at the end. Creates the atmosphere, creates the theme, creates the experience. Okay, you don't want to be in a room that's dull and sterile and people are talking and it's echoing and there's no music in the background. So get the music happening. I do it on my live events also, on my online events also. I have music playing for the first minute also. Okay, so, and obviously the same with the live events is you need a flyer, you need a theme, you need a flyer, theme it, create your own freedom, own your own life, Mummy's on a mission, whatever it is, okay? Get the flyer set up, get it distributing. If you're doing a live event, like our Thursday night live event, it's also done on Zoom. So someone will set up a laptop on the first row on a chair and Zoom it for other people to log on and see the live event also. Okay, people that can't be there. Also, when you do that, you get the ability to record the live event. Okay, and usually a lot of live events aren't. Okay, so if you're doing it, if you're getting a computer there and setting it up, you can record it, because if people are talking and sharing their story, and you might be hearing a story from someone that you haven't heard before, and it's amazing product testimony, and you want that recorded. You may have people doing Facebook Lives. Now, the issue with Facebook Lives is if music comes on, if you're at a bar or a restaurant and there's music on, it's copyrighted, you can't upload to Facebook Live. Also, the person doing the live might not be doing it in the bigger team, they might be doing it in their smaller team, which means you're not going to get access to it. So if you're running the event and you want to record it, I would suggest taking your computer, laptop, whatever, setting it up on Zoom, because it records it as a file to your computer, and then you can upload it to YouTube. Or if it's your event, then putting the live into your team. On your computer, on your phone, I'm not sure about your computer, I'm pretty sure you can when you do a live. When you finish, there's the option to post it, there's also the option to save it. And you're saving a high definition copy, a better version of the video to your phone than the one that's uploaded or when it goes live into the team page. So what you can do then, if you have a product testimony that you want to keep, you can bring it into iMovie, especially with Zoom. But if you're saving the live onto your computer, you can bring it into iMovie, cut it up, get the 30-second testimony or the 2-minute testimony, and use that later on. Okay, so creating an event is coming up with the theme, coming up with getting the things right, what you need right for the event, sidelining with people, all right, and working out a date and getting it started. Okay, so the live events, usually we've got leaders that will come to them at some stage, and then you can promote for that. Okay, so I'm going to see what questions, if there's anything I missed. Okay, I'm here, B Tony. That's awesome, B Tony. Yeah, so Batty is going to a JT Fox speaker event. Awesome. Cool, so there's no questions there. So unless there's any questions, guys, I might wrap this up. Events are the cornerstone of this business. Step up, step out of your comfort zone. Remember, that's when we grow, right? I know in the back of your head, you're thinking, I need to do that. Okay, that's exactly what you need to do. What you're putting off is what you need to do to grow your business. And if that means stepping up and presenting or sharing or helping out at an event, it's time to do it, guys. Okay, it's time to do it. Make the event about other people, not about yourself. Don't make the event about yourself. Just get there, get there, commit to it. Okay, get there weekly. Support other people. And if you're a teamie, okay, and you're in that audience, you should be cheering. When people are sharing their stories, you're making noise. You're creating the atmosphere yourself, okay? If you're bringing a prospect along and they're sitting beside you, you're nudging them and going, wow, did you hear that product story? Wow, did you hear that? I didn't know that business was like this. All right, you're building to it. All right, guys, unless there's any questions, I'm going to stop this. No